Hi, my name is Maverick Evans, and today we are going to be doing a 2021 book wrap-up. I've seen this trend happening with other booktubers and stuff, so I thought that I would jump on the bandwagon and show you guys what all I've read, or most of what I've read, in 2021. So in no particular order, first up, we're going to, actually, this is my favorite. I'm going to go out of my way and say my favorite read of 2021 was definitely The Old Man and the Sea by Ernest Hemingway. This was one of the most pleasant, intense, and page-turning reads that I have had all year, and pretty much any time. I mean, if I had to say what was my absolute favorite book, it would probably be this one right now. I have a few friends who have read this book, and they're not a fan of it. They think it's really slow and boring. But for me, it was invigorating to be able to put myself in the shoes of an old fisherman, and Hemingway did that flawlessly. So that was something I read over the summer, and it was amazing. Another one is Still Like an Artist by Austin Kleon. An excellent tool and piece of work for anybody who is creative or attempting to be creative. Basically, the message of this book is that nobody cares. 10 things nobody told you about being creative. Yeah, no one cares about your artistic integrity. All you have to do is get out there and pump out another idea. Just make it happen. You know, steal from all the greats, and when you do that, the things that you produce are going to be your own. You couldn't duplicate someone's work even if you tried. And so that's the message of this book. So, yeah, and if you like this book, there's also a song by Marc Robier called Another Idea, which basically is the message of this book in a song. So there's that one. Here's a great one that I've been seeing on a lot of people's pages. Dune by Frank Herbert. Amazing. I've already done a video on this one, so if you want to check that out, check it out here. If you're new to sci-fi, surprisingly, despite the girth and density and complexity of this sci-fi book, if you want to get into the sci-fi genre, this is a great entry point for some reason, weirdly enough. Next one is going to be The Fellowship of the Ring. Yeah, so the first book in Lord of the Rings trilogy. Read this for the first time, and it was great. And I really wish that I had more time to read some more fiction, or I would have had the second and third books read already. But yeah, great entry point for fantasy, I think. Actually, my first fantasy read was the Song of Ice and Fire series. But this, I think, is great. Martin took a lot of inspiration from these books, obviously. Everyone has. So if you haven't read it, definitely should. Here's a lesser-known book, Poliduro, Thriller by Andrew J. Brandt. This is a book that was written by a local author here in Texas. And it is basically just a bit of fiction here, young YA, I would figure, young adult thriller, about the Polidoro Canyon, which, by the way, is the second largest canyon in the United States, only second to the Grand Canyon. So if you want to check that out, you should. It was a good, quick read. I read it in about a day, I think, just under, 12 hours or something like that. And so it's a very easy read. It's fun. And introduces you to an area of Texas that I personally have fallen in love with. So it was had a great twist at the end. It's a bit of a mystery and some action. Really great. So give it a read and support your local authors. Here's a fantastic read, The Faithful Executioner, Life and Death, Honor and Shame in the Turbulent 16th Century by Joel F. Harrington, or Joel. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. This is a great history book, and basically it's about, what is his name? I forget his name. He's writing about Schmidt. Yes. So Meister Franz Schmidt is an executioner, right? And he is a practicing Christian as well. How do you balance those two things? Well, the book tells you how he does it. And honestly, this book has helped me work through the problem of capital punishment and Christian love And so if you guys are on the fence about whether or not the death penalty is reasonable or not, and you're trying to reconcile that with your Christian practices and beliefs, then this historical book may or may not help you along that journey. So next up is George Orwell's 1984. I know I probably should have read this sometime in high school, but I somehow didn't. So I ended up reading this, and this is a scarring book, to say the least. It is traumatizing, and at no point in this story is there any kind of true reprieve, only facades and fleeting commercials of happiness, as Deadpool would put it. So is it people always ask, is 1984 prophetic? Yes, so read it. The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. I made a video of this, so if you want to, you can go check it out. It's just one of those classic kind of sci-fi, kind of mystery type things. So a bit of action in there, not too much, but it's a classic read. It's short, and you can get through it easily. It took me a long time to read it for some reason. It was a bit of a slog, so not that much of a page turner, but it's a classic, so may as well read it. I'm going to save the two best for last, and I know these are like really on my backlog. I should have definitely read these a lot earlier. But this is going to be Beyond Order. There we go. Beyond Order. Another, 12 More Rules for Life. Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life by Jordan B. Peterson, which couples with 12 Rules for Life and an Antidote to Chaos. This book is amazing. If you listen to a lot of Jordan Peterson's lectures, then this is just a more consolidated and exhaustive version of those. So if you're a big fan of him and you want to enter into more of his way of thinking and some of the ideas that he explores, then you should tear into this. Also, if you're like lacking in meaning, or you feel like maybe your life has too much order, then this would be the book for you. And then last but not least is Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. Another great Christian theological book. And C.S. Lewis comes at a lot of these very basic, fundamental Christian beliefs, affirmations, and attempts to answer and reconcile a lot of the questions that people who are just entering Christianity might have, or some people who oppose Christianity might have. And he kind of comes at it from a more of a philosophical standing point rather than a purely theological. If you are someone who is a part of the Reformed Church or tradition, then you will be sorely disappointed at the lack of scriptural citation in this book, because there's barely any. Although almost everything that he says in the book is biblically accurate. So although it may not be cited explicitly, it is supporting all of his logic and reasoning throughout the entire book. It's a fantastic read, and C.S. Lewis is a legend for a reason. So that was my 2021 wrap-up. I hope maybe you guys have read some of those books, and if you haven't, you might be interested in give them a read. I'd love to hear what you guys have read in 2021, so leave a comment about that. And if you have any suggestions, leave those in the comments section too. So thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Happy New Year, and I'll see you later.